Hello everyone. Today we look at CAT 2019 Slot 2, Section 1 VRC, one of the passages that had come in the reading comprehension part. I'll be reading out the passage first, then we will revisit the passage with respect to certain words and understanding the paragraph, and then we will go to the questions. War, natural disasters, and climate change are destroying some of the world's most precious cultural sites. Google is trying to help preserve these archaeological wonders by allowing users access to 3D images of these treasures through its site. But the project is raising questions about Google's motivations and about who should own the digital copyrights. Some critics call it a form of digital colonialism. When it comes to archaeological treasures, the losses have been mounting. ISIS blew up parts of the ancient city of Palmyra in Syria, and an earthquake hit Bagan, an ancient city in Myanmar, damaging dozens of temples in 2016. In the past, all archaeologists and historians had for restoration and research were photos, drawings, remnants, and intuition. But that's changing. Before the earthquake at Bagan, many of the temples on the site were scanned. These scans are on Google's Arts and Culture site. The digital renditions allow viewers to virtually wander the halls of the temple, look up close at paintings, and turn the building over to look up at its chambers. Google Arts and Culture works with museums and other non-profits to put high quality images online. The images of the temples in Bagan are part of a collaboration with SciArc, a non-profit that creates the 3D scanning of historic sites. Google says it doesn't make money off this website, but it fits with Google's mission to make the world's information available and useful. Critics say the collaboration could be an attempt by a large corporation to wrap itself in the sheen of culture. Ethan Wottrell, an archaeologist, professor at Michigan State University, and a member of the Society for American Archaeology, says he is not comfortable with the arrangement between SciArc and Google. Wottrell says this project is just a way for Google to promote Google. They want to make this material accessible so people will browse it and be filled with wonder by it. He says, but at its core, it's all about advertisements and driving traffic. Wottrell says these images belong on the site of a museum or educational institution where there are serious scholarship and a very different mission. There's another issue for some archaeologists and art historians. SciArc owns the copyrights of the scans, not the countries where these sites are located. That means the countries need SciArc's permission to use these images for commercial purposes. Erin Thompson, a professor of art crime at John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York City, says it's the latest example of a Western nation appropriating a foreign culture, a centuries long battle. SciArc says it copyrights the scans so no one can use them in an inappropriate way. The company says it works closely with authorities during the process, even training local people to help. But critics like Thompson are not persuaded. She would prefer the scans to be owned by the countries and people where these sites are located. Let us now look at the meanings of some words which had come in this passage, which could impact our understanding of the passage. The first word I would like to turn to is the word preserve, which means to maintain in its existing state. Archaeology is, of course, the study of human history and prehistory through excavation of sites and examining artifacts. Digital is, of course, in the digital format. Copyright is you having the legal right to own a particular property and produce reproductions of it. In simpler terms, the right to copy. Digital colonialism would mean colonialism through the digital format. Colonialism is, of course, the policy of acquiring control over a particular area and exploiting it commercially. So, when you do it digitally, that would be called digital colonialism. Restoration is to bring back to its original state. Remnants is the small part that remains after the majority has been removed. Intuition would be uh, to come to an understanding without a logical process. Rendition here would mean visual representations. Collaboration is the act of coming together of two or more parties to establish a particular objective. A non-profit is an organization which works in a manner whose objective is not to make profit. Sheen would mean shine. Scholarship is, of course, um, serious academic study. Copyrights of the scans we went through. Commercial is, of course, for reasons of commerce or business. And an important word, appropriating, is the act of using something without permission. These are the important words which have come in this. If you were to compress this passage in a few lines, which would give us an understanding of the passage, I think it would be fair to say that a lot of natural calamities are destroying some precious cultural sites. Google is trying to preserve this by using 3D images. But there are critics who are not very sure about Google's motivations. They're raising questions. Google is collaborating with a company called SciArc for creating the 3D scanning of the historic sites, displaying it on its arts and culture website. But there are scholars who do not believe that Google's intentions are pure. Two have been mentioned. One of them is Ethan Wottrell, who is uncomfortable with the arrangement between SciArc and Google. He says it's just a way for Google to drive traffic. Uh, he says they should actually belong to a museum or educational institute where there is serious scholarship. There is another scholar who has been mentioned, Erin Thompson, who says it's what Google is doing is an example of a Western nation trying to steal a foreign culture, and says that it's not correct. SciArc says it copyrights the scans so that no one can use them in an inappropriate way. But critics like Thompson, especially, are not persuaded. She would prefer the scans to be owned by the countries and people where these sites are located. So basically, if I were to crunch it in one sentence, I would say that uh, it's good to preserve sites through 3D scans, but who should eventually own them? We now come to the questions following this particular passage. So, question one is saying, in Dr. Thompson's view, SciArc owning the copyright of its digital scans of archaeological sites is akin to. Akin, of course, means similar to. And then there are four options given. So, first, let's go back to the passage and look at Dr. Thompson's view. So, Dr. Thompson is mentioned out here. Erin Thompson says it's the latest example of a Western nation appropriating a foreign culture. And as we saw, appropriating is to steal or to use without permission. Now let's go back to the question. Is similar to the seizing of ancient Egyptian artifacts by a Western museum? This seems to be spot on, but let's look at the others too. The illegal downloading of content from the internet. Now, this is not about uh, stealing something from a vast source. Okay, there, Dr. Thompson is specifically talking about Western civilization stealing something from the East, so we can safely eliminate two. Tourists uploading photos of monuments onto social media. This is not about um, uploading photos in a touristy manner. Okay, the tourists are not sort of using it for any particular purpose other than probably the fact that they've gone there. So we can safely eliminate three as well. Fourth says digital platforms capturing users' data for market research. Again, it this data may have been captured with or without the knowledge of the users, but it is not a Western culture trying to appropriate Eastern culture for its own uses. So our answer turns out to be one, the seizing of ancient Egyptian artifacts by a Western museum. So I repeat, in Dr. Thompson's view, SCI-Arc owning the copyright of its digital scans of archaeological sites is akin to the seizing of ancient Egyptian artifacts by a Western museum. So we come to question 2 of the passage, which says, of the following arguments, which one is least likely to be used by the companies that digitally scan cultural sites? There are four options. So, out of these four options, three of them are arguments that could be used by the companies. We have to pick one that may not be used or is least likely to be used. So let's look at the options. It helps preserve precious images in case the sites are damaged or destroyed. This is, of course, an argument that a company that digitally scans cultural sites would use. It would probably be its principal argument. So we can safely eliminate this. This is not our answer. It provides images free of cost to all users. This is also an argument that could be used by the company that digitally scans cultural sites. In the passage, we saw that it's not for commercial purposes, so this also can be safely eliminated. It enables people who cannot physically visit these sites to experience them. This is a powerful argument that they could use, the companies that digitally scan cultural sites, and hence is not our answer. So we are left with option 4. Will they use the argument it allows a large corporation to project itself as a protector of culture? No. Um, it will probably not use this argument because it is counterproductive to it. Okay, and this obviously would be our answer. So I repeat, of the following arguments, which one is least likely to be used by the companies that digitally scan cultural sites? It allows a large corporation to project itself as a protector of culture. We look at question 3 of this passage, which says, which of the following, if true, would most strongly invalidate Dr. Watrol's objections? So, to answer this question, it is very important that we familiarize ourselves with Dr. Watrol's objections. So, we go back to the passage. Now, Ethan Watrol has been mentioned here. So, what does he say? He says he's not comfortable with the arrangement between Cyark and Google. He also says it is just a way for Google to promote Google. And then he says these images belong on the site of a museum or educational institution where there are serious scholarship and a very different mission. So we have understood Professor Watrall's objections. Now let's come back to the question. So which of the following, if true, would most strongly invalidate Dr. Watrall's objection? So we have to keep each of the options to be temporarily true and then see which one, when true, would most strongly invalidate his objections. If true, that one, Cyark uploads its scanned images of archaeological sites onto museum websites only. Now, this is a very strong option because if this is true, then Dr. Watrall's objections to Google using it for advertisements and driving traffic, etc., all go away. In fact, he mentions that they belong to museum or educational websites where there is a completely different mission. So, if one is true, it strongly invalidates Dr. Watrall's objections. Let's look at two. If true that Google takes down advertisements on its website hosting Cyark's scanned images. Now, this also is a good option because Watrall had objections with Google. He says, Google may try to project itself as, you know, as a protector of culture, but deep down, it is all about driving traffic and advertisements. However, if Google were to still take down its advertisements from its website, it may not strongly invalidate his objections because it could still drive traffic to the Google website. And so it is not as strong as one, though it is a good option. If you look at three, if true, there is a ban on Cyark scanning archaeological sites located in other countries. So Dr. Watrall does not object to the scanning of archaeological sites, but more about the mission and where it should be. So we can safely eliminate three. If you look at four, if true, Cyark does not own the copyright on scanned images of archaeological sites. Now, this is not one of Watrall's objections. He has no problem with with copyright. He says it should be on educational or museum websites, and it should not be used for missions other than scholarly ones or educational ones. So we can safely eliminate four also, option four. So we are down to 1 and 2, but 1 is a stronger, if true, 1 most strongly invalidates Dr. Watrall's objection, and we can choose this as our answer. So which of the following, if true, would most strongly invalidate Dr. Watrall's objection? 1. If true, Cyark uploads its scanned images of archaeological sites onto museum websites only, then it would most strongly invalidate Dr. Watrall's objections. We come to question 4, which says, based on his views mentioned in the passage, one could best characterize Dr. Watrall as being. Okay, so it's important to notice that this question is based on Dr. Watrall's views as mentioned in the passage and how we could characterize him. So we go back to the passage quickly. We know that Ethan Watrall is mentioned here. Okay, so we read very quickly. Ethan Watrall says he's not comfortable with the arrangement between Cyark and Google. Watrall says this project is just a way for Google to promote Google. They want to make this material accessible so people will browse it and be filled with wonder by it. He says but at its core, it's all about advertisements and driving traffic. Watrall says these images belong on the site of a museum or educational institution where there are serious scholarship and a very different mission. Okay, now let's go back to the question. So we know about his views. Now how could we best characterize Dr. Watrall as being? One, opposed to the use of digital technology in archaeological and cultural sites in developing countries. This we can easily eliminate because there is nothing about Dr. Watrall being opposed to the use of digital technology in archaeology or in cultural sites in developing countries. Two, dismissive of lay people's access to specialist images of archaeological and cultural sites. No, Dr. Watrall is not posing as an elitist. He's not dismissive of lay people's access. In fact, he says it should belong to a museum and educational websites. So we can easily eliminate this option. Third says one could best characterize Dr. Watrall as being critical about the links between a non-profit and a commercial tech platform for distributing archaeological images. Is he critical? Yes, he is. He is also very skeptical about Google's intentions. So this could be our answer. We could characterize him as being critical. Let's look at fourth. One could best characterize Dr. Watrall as being uneasy about the marketing of archaeological images for commercial use by firms such as Google and SciArc. Now, this option is a very tricky option, it's a very distorted option. First and foremost, Google is not saying that it is using the images for commercial use. Dr. Watrall believes that it is being used, it could be used for commerce. Is he uneasy about the link? Yes. But is he uneasy about the marketing of archaeological images for commercial use? We are not so sure. So 4 is a close option. Okay, it's something to be to take very seriously, but it's not as strong as 3. So we eliminate 4 in favor of 3. Based on his views mentioned in the passage, one could best characterize Dr. Watrall as being critical about the links between a non-profit and a commercial tech platform for distributing archaeological images. Our answer is 3. We come to question 5 of this passage. By digital colonialism, critics of the SciArc Google project are referring to the fact that now we know that colonialism is a policy by which you exert control over a particular area and you exploit it commercially. Digital, of course, would mean in the digital format. So digital colonialism is extending your control digitally over a particular area and exploiting it economically. Now let's look at the options. SciArc and Google have been scanning images without copyright permission from host countries. Now this option is a confusing option because we do not even know whether the images need copyright permission from host countries or not, or whether they have been using these scanned images without copyright permission. We can safely eliminate this option that it is not referring to digital colonialism. 2, the scanning process can damage delicate frescoes and statues at the sites. This, of course, is not what they are referring to as digital colonialism. This is a concern that can be raised, that could be raised while the scanning process is going on. So we can safely eliminate 2 also. We look at 3. SciArc and Google have not shared the details of digitization with the host countries. Now, not sharing the details of digitization, even if they were not to have, does not indicate digital colonialism. So we can eliminate 3 as well. We are left with option 4, which says countries where the scanned sites are located do not own the scan copyrights. So, this is the fact that they are referring to, because once the countries do not own the scan copyrights, then the colonialism through a digital format has started happening, which is also mentioned as one of Erin Thompson's criticisms, which talks about the latest example of a Western nation appropriating a foreign culture, a centuries long battle. So, by digital colonialism, critics of the SCIAR Google project are referring to the fact that countries where the scanned sites are located do not own the scan copyrights. So, our answer option would be 4.
Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get notifications of future videos.